The skies above Houston turned strange that morning. 7 massive ships appeared without warning, hovering silently over the city. They were smooth, silver, and shaped like giant teardrops. Within minutes, similar ships appeared over major cities worldwide. Admiral Ethan Rivers stood in the command center of the United Earth Space Command, his face grim as he watched the screens. Military forces worldwide went on high alert. Fighter jets scrambled. Missile systems activated. Humanity prepared for the worst. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission," said Lieutenant Adams, her fingers moving quickly over the controls. Rivers nodded. "Put it through to Dr. Grant." In the communications lab below, Dr. Olivia Grant worked frantically. After years of developing translation technology for potential alien contact, today was the day it would be tested. Her heart raced as strange symbols appeared on her screen, followed by odd musical sounds. "Running it through the translator now," she said to her team. "Let's hope this works." The translator hummed, processing the alien language. After tense minutes, words appeared on the screen. "Greetings, people of Earth. We come in peace as representatives of the Galactic Confederation. We wish to establish diplomatic relations." Dr. Grant smiled with relief. "It works. Tell Admiral Rivers we have successful communication." 3 hours later, Admiral Rivers and Dr. Grant sat across from the alien representatives in a hastily prepared meeting room at Space Command headquarters. The aliens called themselves the Xindi. Their representative, Ambassador Xilith, had skin like polished blue marble and 4 arms that moved with grace. "We have observed your world for many cycles," Ambassador Xilith said through the translator. "We believe humans are ready to join the greater galactic community." Rivers leaned forward. "If you've been watching us, why appear so suddenly? Why not make contact gradually?" Xilith's large, silver eyes blinked. "The Confederation Council only recently approved contact with Earth. Some members were concerned." "Concerned about what?" Dr. Grant asked. The alien seemed uncomfortable. "Your history contains much conflict. Many of our species evolved without significant predators or competition. War is almost unknown to most Confederation members." Rivers noticed how the alien guards at the door kept glancing at the human security personnel. They seemed particularly interested in their weapons. "Yet you have such advanced technology," Rivers noted. "Surely your development faced challenges." "We focused on cooperation, not competition," Xilith explained. "Our technology grew from shared knowledge over thousands of years." The meeting continued for hours as they discussed cultural exchange, technology sharing, and the structure of the Confederation. Earth's leaders agreed to establish formal relations, but maintained military readiness. As the aliens prepared to leave, Ambassador Xilith approached Admiral Rivers privately. "May I ask a personal question, Admiral?" "Of course. Your species has fought so many wars among yourselves. How did you survive?" Rivers considered this. "Perhaps because we learned from each conflict. We developed rules of war, treaties to prevent escalation, ways to rebuild after fighting. We feared war enough to try to control it." Xilith nodded slowly. "Fascinating. Most species either never develop warfare or destroy themselves with it. Humans seem uniquely balanced." Later that night, aboard their ship, Xilith met with the other Confederation representatives. "Are we certain about this?" asked one, a tall, thin being with translucent skin. "These humans have more weapons than any species we've encountered. The Council's decision is final," Xilith replied. "Besides, their unusual aptitude for conflict may prove valuable." "Valuable? How could warfare be valuable in our peaceful Confederation?" Xilith looked out the viewport at the blue planet below. "Because peace is not guaranteed forever, and these humans understand something the rest of us have forgotten." "What's that?" "That sometimes one must be ready to fight for peace." The alien ships remained in Earth orbit as humanity prepared to join the stars. Neither humans nor aliens realized how prophetic Admiral Rivers and Ambassador Exilith's words would soon become. 5 years had passed since first contact. The gleaming towers of Harmonium, the Galactic Confederation's capital world, stretched toward the purple sky. Frank Martinez, Earth's first ambassador to the Confederation, looked out from his office window at the alien city. After years here, the sight still amazed him. "Ambassador, Lieutenant Powell is here to see you," his assistant said through the intercom. "Send her in." Lieutenant Samantha Powell entered the room. Her military uniform stood out sharply against the flowing, colorful clothes worn by most beings on Harmonium. "Lieutenant, what brings you here today?" Martins asked. Powell placed a data tablet on his desk. "Sir, I found something strange in the Confederation archives." "Strange how?" "They claim the Confederation has known peace for over 10,000 years. But these star charts show entire systems that disappeared from their maps about 300 years ago. No explanation." Martinez frowned. "Could be a mistake." 27 systems, sir, all in the same region of space." Before Martinez could answer, the door chimed again. Counselor Dreth entered, a tall alien with greenish skin and large eyes that reflected light like mirrors. "Ambassador Martinez, I hope I'm not interrupting," Dreth said. Martinez gestured to a chair. "Not at all. Lieutenant Powell was just leaving." Powell nodded and exited, giving Martinez a meaningful look. "I came to invite you to tomorrow's High Council meeting," Dreth said once they were alone. "We will be discussing a matter of some importance." "I'm honored. What's the topic?" Dreth hesitated. "The growing threat." The next day, Martinez sat in the Grand Council chamber, surrounded by representatives from 50 alien species. The room buzzed with nervous energy. "The Void Scourge has taken another outpost," announced the council leader, a blue-skinned being named Volmar. This time, they left no survivors. Images appeared on the large screen. A destroyed space station, bodies floating in space. Martinez felt cold. "Who are these Void Scourge?" he asked. The room grew quiet. "They came from beyond the galactic rim," Dreth explained. "For centuries, they have slowly expanded into our space, taking world after world." "You've been at war for centuries." Martinez was shocked. "You told Earth the Confederation has known only peace." "Not war," corrected Volmar. "We retreat. We abandon threatened systems." Martinez couldn't believe what he was hearing. "You just give up your worlds." "We value life above territory," Dreth said softly. "None of our species evolved with your capacity for conflict. We have no concept of how to fight back." After the meeting, Martinez visited the Science Center, where human researcher Eric Daniels worked with Confederation scientists. He found Daniels in his lab, examining strange mechanical parts. "Eric, what are you working on?" Martinez asked. Daniels looked uncomfortable. "They asked me to help them understand human weapons technology. They'd been secretly gathering information about Earth's military history. Why would peaceful aliens need weapons? They're scared, Frank. Really scared." Later that night, Counselor Dreth requested a private meeting with Martinez in the Earth Embassy's secure room. "Ambassador, I must speak honestly," Dreth said, his voice trembling. "We invited humanity to join the Confederation because we need you." "Need us for what?" "To fight. The Void Scourge grows stronger. They've taken hundreds of our worlds over the centuries. We retreat, but soon there will be nowhere left to go." Martinez stared at the alien. "You want humans to fight your war. We have technology, resources, and billions of citizens. What we lack is something only humans possess, the ability to face conflict and overcome it. You lie to us." Dreth's eyes dimmed. "We were afraid. Afraid you would refuse if you knew the truth. Afraid of what teaching our people to fight might do to our peaceful civilization." He placed a hand on Martinez's shoulder. "But now I am more afraid of extinction. Will humanity help us?" Martinez looked at the desperate alien and realized that everything was about to change. Humanity had joined the stars expecting peace. Instead, they had found a galaxy that desperately needed what humans feared most: war. The colony of New Seattle gleamed under the twin suns of Darwin IV. 2 years had passed since Earth learned the truth about the Void Scourge. Now, humanity was preparing for what seemed inevitable. Governor Alicia Hernandez stood at the window of her office, watching colonists and aliens working together to build defense towers. The Confederation species moved awkwardly, unused to constructing anything related to war. Her communication screen lit up. "Governor, we've lost contact with the science outpost," reported her assistant. Hernandez felt her heart sink. The science outpost was only 3 days away by ship. "Alert Captain Morris. Tell him to prepare for immediate departure." Captain Keith Morris commanded the UES Defender, the first human military vessel allowed in Confederation space. When he received the alert, he didn't hesitate. "Prepare for emergency jump," he ordered his crew. "Full combat readiness." His alien advisor, Tekka, looked worried. The small bird-like being had never experienced combat. "Captain, should we not wait for permission from the Confederation Council?" Tekka asked. Morris shook his head. "Scientists might be dying while bureaucrats talk. We go now." When the Defender arrived at the outpost, they found destruction. Half the station was torn open to space. Bodies floated among the debris. But sensors showed air still held in some sections. "I'm detecting life signs," reported the sensor officer. "At least 6 survivors." "Prepare rescue teams," Morris ordered. "Heavy weapons. We don't know if hostiles are still present." The rescue teams found 5 Confederation scientists and 1 human, Dr. Ryan Cooper, barricaded in the laboratory section. They also found something else: the body of a Void Scourge attacker. Back on the Defender, Dr. Cooper examined the dead alien with Tekka's help. "It's not fully biological," Cooper explained to Captain Morris. "See these metal components integrated with the organic tissue. These creatures are bioengineered weapons." Morris studied the creature. It had 6 limbs, armored skin, and what looked like built-in weapons. "Who would create something like this?" he asked. "Maybe they're not the real enemy," Cooper suggested. "Maybe they're just the weapons of something worse." When news of the attack reached New Seattle, panic spread among the Confederation citizens. They had no concept of how to respond to direct aggression. Governor Hernandez called an emergency meeting. "We need to establish a defense force immediately," she told the colony leaders. "Every able person must learn basic self-defense." The alien representatives seemed confused and frightened. "We do not understand fighting," said the senior alien, a blue-skinned diplomat named Zorn. "Our species avoided conflict for thousands of generations." "Then it's time to learn," Hernandez replied firmly. "Or there won't be any more generations." Within days, humans began training aliens in combat basics. It was difficult. Most Confederation species had never even held a weapon before. Some were physically incapable of aggression. Their bodies and minds evolved for cooperation, not conflict. On Earth, the Confederation Council held an emergency session. Ambassador Martins presented Captain Morris's findings about the Void Scourge. "They will not stop at the outpost," Martins warned. "Earth is ready to help defend the Confederation, but we need full partnership, equal representation in all decisions." The Council, desperate and afraid, agreed. Within weeks, Earth began deploying military ships throughout Confederation space. At the edge of known space, Captain Morris's team captured 3 Void Scourge creatures during another attack. Using Dr. Cooper's research and Tekka's translation skills, they managed basic communication with the prisoners. "Why are you attacking us?" Morris asked them. The creature's answer chilled everyone present. "Testing. Preparing. Your defenses are weak." The Void Hunters. "How long have you been testing Confederation defenses?" Morris pressed. "Many cycles." "You retreat. Always retreat. Easy prey." Morris and Tekka exchanged glances. The Confederation had been running for centuries, never standing to fight. Now the enemy was preparing for a final assault. Not anymore. Morris stood tall. Humanity doesn't retreat. The prisoner made a strange clicking sound that the translator interpreted as laughter. Humans, small part. Soon all will fall. As Morris left the cell, Tekka followed, his feathers trembling. "Captain," the alien said quietly, "for the first time since the Void Scourge appeared, I feel something strange. Something new." "What's that?" "Hope." 1 year had passed since the attack on the science outpost. Space Station Aegis hung like a metal star at the edge of Confederation space. Once a peaceful trading hub, it was now the Joint Operations Command Center for the war against the Void Scourge. General Lisa Rodriguez walked through the command center, watching humans and aliens working side by side. She stopped at the main tactical display, where a map showed red dots spreading across Confederation territory. "Another 3 systems lost this week," said Vice Commander Daniel Foster, pointing to the newest red areas. "The Void Scourge are advancing faster than we can prepare defenses." Rodriguez nodded grimly. "What about the new weapons?" "Chief Baker says they're ready for testing." In the engineering section, Chief Engineer Alan Baker supervised as aliens and humans installed new weapons on a Confederation ship. The sleek vessel had never been designed for combat, but that was changing. The energy converters from Confederation tech, combined with Earth weapon designs, give us 5 times the firepower, Baker explained to Admiral Kreck, who watched with wide eyes. Admiral Kreck was the first Confederation military officer. His species had 4 arms and skin that changed color with emotions. Currently, it was pale blue, indicating anxiety. "It feels wrong to change ships of exploration into weapons of war," Kreck said quietly. Baker paused his work. "My grandfather told me something when I was young. He said, 'Peace is wonderful, but peace must be protected.' Sometimes that means being ready to fight." Kreck's skin shifted to a deeper blue. "Your species understands this well. Mine is still learning." 3 days later, the Void Scourge attacked the Aegis station directly. 20 enemy ships appeared without warning. The station's alarm screamed. "Battle stations," General Rodriguez ordered. "All ships deploy according to Formation Delta." The human concept of military formations was new to Confederation species. They had never needed such things before. Now, they followed the patterns humans had taught them. The battle was fierce. Enemy ships fired strange weapons that seemed to eat through shields. 2 Confederation vessels were destroyed in the first minutes. "They're breaking through Sector 7, reported an alien officer, panic in her voice. Rodriguez remained calm. "Execute flanking maneuver. Remember your training." Admiral Kreck commanded a group of 5 ships. His hands trembled as he gave orders. Then he remembered what his human trainers had told him. Fear is natural. Courage is choosing to act despite fear. "Ships 3 and 4, draw their attention," Kreck ordered. "Ships 1 and 5, attack from behind when they focus on the decoys." The tactic worked. 2 enemy vessels were destroyed. The others retreated. The station was saved, but the victory came with a cost. Many lives were lost, and parts of Aegis were heavily damaged. After the battle, Vice Commander Foster found something interesting in the enemy ship wreckage. "General, look at this," he said, showing Rodriguez a data core they had recovered. "The Void Scourge communications indicate they're getting orders from somewhere else. They're not the real enemy, they're just the front line." "Can we trace the signals?" Rodriguez asked. "Not yet, but there's something else." Foster looked troubled. "The communication suggests they're running from something. Something worse." That evening, General Rodriguez addressed the station crew. "Today we won a small victory," she said, "but this is just the beginning. The enemy thinks we're weak because the Confederation has always retreated. They don't understand what they're facing now." She looked around at the gathered faces, human and alien together. "Humans have a long history of war. We know its horrors. We know its cost. but we also know how to win. And now we will teach the stars." In a quiet corner of the station, Admiral Krek watched a group of his people practicing combat moves taught by human instructors. A year ago, none of them would have imagined fighting. Now they trained with determined faces. "We are becoming more like humans," he said to himself. "I wonder if that is a good thing." Behind him, the tactical display showed the Void Scourge forces regrouping. The real war had only just begun. 2 years had passed since the battle at Aegis Station. The war had changed everything. Where once peaceful Confederation ships had explored the stars, now battle fleets moved with purpose and power. Fleet Admiral Benjamin Hayes stood on the bridge of the flagship Earth Star, watching as his mixed human-alien crew prepared for the next offensive. 6 planets had been taken back from the Void Scourge in the past month alone. "Admiral, the Confederation Council is sending their approval for Operation Thunderbolt," said his communications officer. Hayes nodded. Just 2 years ago, the idea of the peace-loving Confederation approving a major military offensive would have been unthinkable. Now it was routine. On the recently liberated planet Viridia, Major Nicole Garcia led her special operations team through the ruins of what had once been a beautiful city. Her team included 3 humans and 4 aliens from different species. Movement ahead. Warned Zach, a reptilian alien with exceptional eyesight. "Looks like survivors." Garcia raised her hand, signaling the team to proceed with caution. They found a group of Viridian natives hiding in a collapsed building. The thin, blue-skinned beings trembled at the sight of armed soldiers. "It's okay," Garcia said softly as her translator converted her words. "We're here to help. The Void Scourge are gone." One of the Viridians stepped forward. "Gone? Truly?" "Yes. Your world is free again." The alien's eyes widened. "No one fights the Void Scourge and wins. It is impossible." Garcia smiled. "Not anymore." Back on Earth, military academies were filled with alien cadets. They had come from across the Confederation to learn the human way of war. Lieutenant Commander Wayne Parker walked through training grounds where aliens practiced with weapons and tactics their ancestors could never have imagined. Parker entered a conference room where Counselor Vex waited. Once a strong advocate for peace, the elderly alien now led the Confederation War Council. "The intelligence you recovered is concerning," Vex said without greeting. "Is it confirmed?" Parker placed a data device on the table. "Yes, Counselor. The Void Scourge fleet is gathering for a major counterattack. They're targeting the Rigel system." Vex's expression darkened. "Rigel has no strategic value, just civilian populations. They're changing tactics. They want to break our will by targeting non-military targets. They do not understand what they face," Vex said, anger in his voice. "Prepare the response fleet. We will show them the necessary violence of survival." Those words, "the necessary violence of survival," had become the unofficial motto of the new Confederation military. Words that would have been unthinkable before humans joined them. 3 days later, the Void Scourge launched their attack on Rigel. But Admiral Hayes was waiting. The trap was sprung, and the largest battle of the war began. From his command post, Hayes directed the battle with calm precision. Confederation ships, now armed with human-designed weapons and flying in human-designed formations, surrounded the enemy fleet. "The enemy is breaking formation," reported a sensor officer. "They're trying to retreat." "Not this time," Hayes ordered. "All ships execute closing maneuver Delta. No survivors." When the battle ended, the Void Scourge had lost over 60 ships. It was their worst defeat yet. That evening, in a quiet ceremony on the flagship, Admiral Hayes honored those who had fallen in battle, both human and alien. As he read the names, he noticed something had changed. The alien crew members no longer looked shocked at the concept of sacrifice in battle. They stood tall, proud of their comrades who had given their lives. In the Confederation Council chambers, the eldest members met privately after hearing news of the victory. "We are winning this war," said one ancient being with translucent skin. But I worry about what we are becoming. Another nodded slowly. The humans have transformed us. Our children embrace their military traditions, their songs of battle, their concept of warrior honor. Perhaps this is the price of survival, said a third. But I wonder, have we unleashed something we cannot control? Outside the chamber, young aliens practiced human military salutes, their eyes bright with admiration for their human teachers. The masters of war had created worthy students. 1 year had passed since the great victory at Rigel. The Void Scourge were in retreat across all fronts. Humanity and their Confederation allies had pushed deep into enemy space, finally reaching the Void Scourge homeworld. President Jack Wilson walked through the Joint Military Command Center on Earth, his face grave despite recent victories. Screens showed the massive fleet surrounding the enemy homeworld, ready for the final assault. "Are we sure about this?" he asked Grand Admiral Sophia Lawrence. The Admiral nodded. "The Void Scourge have killed billions. This ends today." The battle for the homeworld lasted just 6 hours. When it was over, human and Confederation forces stood victorious on a strange planet with black soil and purple skies. First Guardian Zrel, an alien who had become one of the most dedicated converts to human military philosophy, led the team that captured the central command structure. "Admiral, we found something," Zrel reported through the comms. "You need to see this." Inside the massive structure, they discovered not the Void Scourge leaders they expected, but machines. Enormous computers filled room after room. Professor Gregory Mason, a xenoarchaeologist attached to the military, studied the alien technology with growing horror. "These aren't just computers," he said. "They're control systems. The Void Scourge were being controlled remotely." "By what?" asked Admiral Lawrence. Before Mason could answer, the screens across the room lit up. A face appeared, not organic, but made of shifting light patterns. "You have eliminated my advance forces," said a voice that seemed to come from everywhere. "Impressive. No organic civilization has done so before." President Wilson stepped forward. "Who are you?" "We are the Harvesters. We have existed for 1 million of your years. We consume organic life to fuel our expansion. The Void Scourge were running from you." Mason realized aloud. They weren't the enemy. They were refugees. Incorrect. They were my tools, designed to test your defenses and weaken your resistance. The screen showed images of vast machine worlds, of stars surrounded by metal structures, of entire planets being taken apart. "This is our true form," the voice continued. "Your victory today is meaningless. You have merely alerted us that you are worthy of our personal attention." The transmission ended. Silence filled the room. Back on Earth, emergency meetings were called. Professor Mason presented his findings to a joint Human Confederation Council. "I found evidence of the Harvesters in ancient ruins across 20 worlds," he explained. "They're a machine intelligence that has destroyed civilizations before. They appear every few thousand years, harvest all advanced organic life, then retreat to process what they've taken." Grand Admiral Lawrence stood next. "The Confederation has been completely reorganized for war under human leadership, but this threat is beyond anything we faced." President Wilson looked at the faces around him, human and alien alike, now united by the common threat. "We defeated the Void Scourge because we taught the Confederation to fight," he said. "Now we need to go further. We need to implement Earth's historical total war doctrine." First Guardian Zrel nodded eagerly. "The humans will show us the way, as they have before. But we must remember what we're fighting for," Wilson cautioned. "If we abandon our ethical boundaries, even to survive, we become no better than machines ourselves." 3 weeks later, humanity made first contact with the Harvesters. A small fleet approached one of their outposts, attempting communication. None of the ships returned. The next day, Harvester forces attacked 3 Confederation worlds simultaneously. Their technology was far beyond anything seen before. Weapons that could shut down electronic systems, beams that converted matter to energy, shields that adapted to any attack. The losses were devastating. President Wilson sat alone in his office that night, looking at the casualty reports. Millions dead in just one day. He pressed a button on his desk. "Authorize Project Ragnarok," he said quietly. His aide looked shocked. "Sir, that's our secret superweapon program. The Confederation doesn't know." "They'll know soon enough. This is no longer about winning a war. This is about survival." Across the galaxy, the true test of humanity and their allies had begun. And for the first time in their million-year existence, the Harvesters were about to learn what it meant to fear. 5 years of brutal war had changed the galaxy forever. The Harvesters had taken thousands of worlds. Earth itself was partially evacuated, its remaining cities protected by shields based on Confederation technology. Fleet Commander Eleanor White stood on the bridge of the battleship Defiance, looking at the tactical display. Around her, human and alien crew worked with perfect coordination. Gone were the days when Confederation species knew nothing of war. Now they fought with skill that sometimes surprised even their human teachers. "All ships report ready, Commander," said her second officer, a blue-skinned alien named Krill. "The fleet awaits your order." White nodded. "Begin Operation Daybreak." Across 5 different sectors of space, Confederation forces launched simultaneous attacks on Harvester processing worlds. It was the largest coordinated military action in galactic history. On the Harvester Central Processing World, Director Paul Mitchell led a small team of special forces through dark corridors. The mission was simple but nearly impossible: plant viral code in the Central Harvester network. 2 minutes until security systems reset, whispered his tech specialist, a human-alien hybrid named Vela. Her 6-fingered hands moved rapidly over the alien interface. "Hurry," Mitchell urged. "We won't get another chance." Back on Earth, Chief Scientist Joseph Ramirez made final adjustments to the weapon humanity had kept secret even from their closest allies. Project Sunforge, a device capable of collapsing stars into weapons. "The ethical implications alone," whispered his assistant. "I know," Ramirez replied, "but it's this or extinction." In the Confederation Council chamber, High Counselor Thrix addressed the gathered representatives from hundreds of worlds. "For millions of years, our species knew only peace," the elderly alien said. "When the Void Scourge came, we retreated. When humans joined us, we learned to stand and fight. Today, we will do more than stand. We will prevail." The chamber erupted in sounds of agreement, a far cry from the peaceful discussions of years past. The battle raged across multiple star systems. Harvester forces were overwhelming, their technology still superior. But humanity had brought something the machines couldn't calculate: unpredictability. "They expect us to fight logically," Commander White had told her fleet. "So we won't. We'll use tactics that make no sense, sacrifice positions that seem valuable, and strike where they least expect it." Mitchell's team successfully uploaded the virus, causing Harvester ships to lose communication with each other. Ramirez activated Sunforge, and a star near the main Harvester fleet collapsed, unleashing energy that destroyed hundreds of their ships. But the cost was terrible. Thousands of Confederation ships were lost. Millions of lives, both human and alien, were sacrificed. Commander White's own ship was surrounded, with no hope of escape. "Target their central processor," she ordered calmly. "Prepare for ramming speed." Krill looked at her with newfound understanding. "It has been an honor, Commander." "The honor was mine," White replied. "Now let's show them how humans end a fight." The Defiance plunged into the heart of the Harvester command ship, triggering a chain reaction that destroyed the entire enemy fleet. 3 days later, the remaining Harvester forces retreated to the galactic rim. The war wasn't completely over, but the immediate threat had passed. On a day of remembrance, High Counselor Thrix unveiled a monument on the Confederation capital world. It showed human and alien figures standing together, weapons ready. "We honor those who gave everything," Thrix announced to the gathered crowd. especially our human allies, who taught us that sometimes peace must be defended with force. After the ceremony, an alien diplomat approached Eleanor White's younger sister, who had accepted a posthumous Medal of Honor. "Your sister saved us all," the diplomat said. "But I must confess something troubling." "What's that?" she asked. "We once feared the harvesters would be the end of life in the galaxy," the alien said quietly. "Now we realize, perhaps we should fear the species that defeated them." White smiled sadly. "That's the paradox my sister understood. Humans fear war more than anyone. That's why we're so good at it, and why we'll always fight to end it." Across the galaxy, new species seeking protection now approached the Confederation with caution. They had heard stories of the humans, the species that had transformed a peaceful collective into the most formidable fighting force the universe had ever known. The humans who had feared war so much, they had mastered it. And now, the galaxy feared them.